welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving deep into something really fundamental to how we all move, how we feel. It's the often overlooked secret of, well, head posture.
Exactly.
And our unique way into this, our lens, it comes from the world of horses, actually. We're looking at the wisdom derived from observing them.
Yes.
We've sort of distilled these insights into what we're calling Gandour's wisdom. It represents that intuitive biomechanical understanding you see in these, well, magnificent animals. We'll uncover what horses just instinctively know about optimal head-neck placement, and importantly, how those insights apply directly to you, to us humans.
That's right. And our mission here in this deep dive is really to extract those crucial, actionable insights. You know, the biomechanics of the cervical spine, head posture.
Yeah.
We'll be drawing some surprising analogies, I think, between horse and human movement. So get ready for some genuine aha moments about how you carry your head isn't just looks, you know.
Right, not just aesthetics.
No, it's about your entire bodily balance, even how you breathe.
Okay, so let's unpack this core idea that seems to come up again and again in Gandour's wisdom. For a horse, head placement is never just an isolated thing. What does that really mean in practical terms? How does that maybe challenge how we humans think about just, holding our head up?
Well, what's truly fascinating here is how this wisdom talks about head carriage as an equilibrium. It's not static.
Equilibrium.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. Think about neck length, the suppleness of the withers. That's the area where the neck meets the back,
Right.
The mobility of that cervicothoracic hinge, that crucial transition point.
Or the neck meets the upper back.
Exactly. And critically, a deep trust in their guide or rider. This is really profound. A well-carried head begins with a free back.
A free back.
And a free back begins with a gentle intention. It's all about these subtle, continuous micro-adjustments, not rigid force.
Not yanking or pulling.
Precisely. If a horse feels pulled, constrained, they immediately compensate. They stiffen up. They lose that natural flow.
Okay, and here's where it gets really compelling for us, isn't it? Gandour's wisdom makes this powerful analogy. We humans carry our heads like a hat.
Yeah, I like that one.
If that hat's poorly placed, it slips, or it constantly bothers you. And think about this. Your head weighs roughly 5 kilos.
That's like a bowling ball.
Exactly, a bowling ball. And if that weight isn't distributed well, balanced well, your neck just takes the brunt of it. Your trapezius muscles get tense, your shoulders start creeping up towards your ears.
And your breath gets shallow.
Yeah, restricted.
And expanding on that, the goal isn't really to force your head into some, perfect alignment. It's more about allowing that natural, optimal balance to just emerge.
Emerge from within.
Yes. And this is precisely where movement practices like Pilates, for example, really shine. Gandour's wisdom highlights this. They guide you to find that balance yourself.
Rather than imposing it.
Exactly. It's about uncovering your own innate efficiency.
So, okay, let's apply this to the anatomy, the nuts and bolts of the human neck. Gandour's wisdom seems to consistently highlight two key areas, especially that C1-C2 junction.
Yes.
What makes that specific tiny area so incredibly crucial for both horses and us?
Well, this really gets to the heart of precision, doesn't it? And foundational movement. For both species, that C1-C2 junction, that's your atlas and axis vertebrae, right at the very top of your spine.
Right under the skull.
Precisely. It's absolutely essential. Gandour's wisdom even calls it the vestibule of bodily consciousness.
Wow, Sonia.
Because it allows for these incredibly subtle micro-rotations, gentle tilting. This is where the real finesse of all movement originates.
The tiny adjustments.
Yes. If that segment is blocked, if it's restricted, then everything downstream gets confused. Even your gaze can be affected. So for you, the human, that subtle, almost imperceptible head nod, the one, activating those deep flexor muscles right there at C1-C2.
The tiny little nod, yeah.
That's the key. That's the key to intelligent mobilization. It sort of prepares your whole body for broader movement without disrupting your overall balance.
So it's not a big dramatic movement.
No, not at all. It's not spectacular, but it's absolutely fundamental. It's like the first breath of the neck. It sets the stage for everything else that follows.
That makes perfect sense. And it really gets you thinking about the hierarchy of neck muscles, right? There's a big difference between those deep guiding muscles and the bigger ones on the surface.
Absolutely. A crucial difference. Those deep muscles like the longus colli and longus capitis running deep along the front of your spine, or the suboccipitals right at the base of the skull.
The ones you don't really see.
Exactly. Those are the ones responsible for the fine guidance, the segmental stability. They should be the very first ones you feel activating during that gentle, subtle head nod.
Okay.
But too often what happens? The more superficial muscles take over. The big guys.
Like the traps.
Like the upper trapezius, yeah, running from neck to shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Or the sternocleidomastoid SCM, those many bands on the sides of your neck. Or the scales, which also help with breathing.
You jump in too early.
They jump in too early or too forcefully for these small movements. Now, they're useful muscles, obviously, for larger movements, but their primary activation in these subtle actions, that indicates an imbalance.
And that leads to?
Well, that often leads to a stiff neck, that shallow chest-dominant breathing, thoracic breathing, and that very common head-forward posture we see so much.
Right.
Gandour's wisdom notes something similar in horses. There's this muscle called the brachiocephalic, connecting the head to the shoulder. If that gets too tense, it stiffens the whole neck.
Ah, interesting parallel.
It really is. It shows how tension in those big connecting muscles impacts neck mobility in both of us. And other muscles, like the splenius or semispinalis capitis, they contribute to that noble, upright carriage.
Looking elegant.
Yes, but they can overactivate if the back is tight or contracted. Again, it's compensation. It all just reinforces that core message. The neck is never isolated, it's a bridge.
A bridge connecting the head to the rest of the spine.
It's the entire spine, exactly.
So, okay, expanding on that idea of connection, what does a well-carried head look like in the context of the whole spine, the bigger picture?
Well, for the head to be truly well carried, sustainably carried, it has to exist in continuity with the natural, healthy curve of your thoracic spine.
It's your upper back.
Your upper back, yes. If your thoracic spine is rigid or maybe slumped forward,
Which happens a lot sitting at desks.
it does, then your neck will invariably compensate. It has to. And that throws off your entire postural balance. It can even affect your eyes, making them lose their natural axis, which impacts vision and perception.
Wow, even the eyes.
Yeah. There's a simple but really profound cue from Gandour's wisdom. Look straight ahead. Feel your skull lengthen away from your sacrum.
Lengthen away, not pull back.
Exactly. Lengthen. That's already an alignment. Just that feeling.
Mm.
And when you initiate movement with your gaze, just letting your eyes lead.
Instead of forcing the neck.
Right. You naturally engage the correct neuromotor circuits. Your body follows your eyes. It's much more efficient, much more integrated.
This deep dive, it's all about getting actionable insights for you listening. So what specific movements or exercises drawing from this wisdom can actually help us find this natural integrated alignment? Let's start with cranio-vertebral flexion. Sounds technical?
It sounds technical, but Gandour's wisdom calls it a jewel of precision. It's beautiful.
Okay.
This movement, you often do it lying on your back, head gently supported,
Right.
maybe on a small cushion or towel, and it's almost invisible from the outside.
Really?
Yeah, but internally, it's immense. It's that subtle nodding motion right at the very top of your neck where the skull meets the spine. C1, C2 again.
Back to C1, C2.
Always.
Yeah.
Consciously engages those long, deep neck muscles we talked about.
The longus colli, longus capitis.
Yes. And importantly, it helps calm down those superficial ones, the traps, the SCM. It basically sends a signal to your nervous system, okay, I am ready. I am centered.
Like a reset.
It's like an invitation to deep body awareness.
Yeah.
For horses, you see this sometimes. A slight head nod when they're relaxed, in repose. It isn't submission.
No.
No, it's a sign of being attuned, listening, ready. So while the movement itself is tiny, the internal repatterning can be huge.
That sounds like it really cultivates a deep internal connection.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the modified abdominal preparation? How does that exercise tie into head posture? Isn't that more about abs?
But remember, the neck is a bridge. Gandour's wisdom calls this one magnificent.
I craze.
Because it beautifully connects the upper and lower body, it demonstrates how central your core strength is to actually stabilizing and freeing your head.
How does that work?
Well, once your head is properly supported, maybe cradled in your hands, or just feeling that length from the C1, C2 nod and your neck feels free, then you can initiate a gentle thoracic curl.
Lifting the upper back off the floor.
Just the upper back, yeah. But without any pressure or strain on your cervical spine. Your head just comes along for the ride, supported. It's described not as a harsh crunch, you know?
Not just jamming the chin to the chest.
No, absolutely not. It's more like a wave, a spiral, engaging your deep core muscles with nuance, with intelligent control. Gandour's wisdom suggests, kind of poetically, that if riders did this before every ride, it would transform their connection with their horse. And for us, well, it means better core support for a truly liberated neck.
Integrated movement again. Okay, and finally, the modified breaststroke. What does that teach us about elegant movement and head carriage?
Here we're moving into what Gandour's wisdom calls the nobility of movement.
Nobility, okay.
In this exercise, often done lying on your front, your gaze leads the extension. Your eyes look forward and slightly up, and your head follows naturally.
So the eyes lead again.
The eyes lead. The crown of your skull lengthens away from your tailbone, that sense of length again. Your rib cage opens, expands forward. But crucially, without tension.
No bracing.
No bracing. Your shoulder blades should feel like they're gliding freely down your back. And your neck just remains soft and free, continuing the line of the upper spine. It's described as an inner ascent.
Inner ascent, not just pushing up.
Exactly. Not a brute force push-up. Think of a horse straightening its posture. They don't do it to look grand or imposing necessarily.
Why do you do it?
To breathe better, to expand their capacity. It embodies the elegance from within. It's about finding length in space.
It sounds like all these movements require not just, physical precision, but a deeper awareness. Which brings us nicely to Gandour's advice for anyone guiding others, teachers, therapists, trainers, or even just guiding themselves, right?
Yes, absolutely. And this is so important. Gandour's wisdom really emphasizes that teaching optimal cervical placement, or posture in general, it isn't about imposing some fixed, rigid posture.
Like telling someone, shoulders back, chin tucked.
Exactly that. Instead, it's about guiding the student, or yourself, towards an embodied awareness of their own natural axis, finding it from the inside out.
Which raises a really important question about language, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How we communicate these subtle things.
Oh, hugely important. Words have to be chosen with immense care. So instead of saying, tuck your chin,
which often leads to tension.
It often does. Try phrasing like, let your neck lengthen, or allow your skull to float gently upwards, or imagine a string lifting you from the crown of your head.
More evocative.
Yes. And instead of a blunt stand straight, maybe suggest, let your head float easily in its axis, light and balanced over your spine. It invites discovery, not command.
And respecting individual differences.
Crucially, always respect individual rhythms and anatomy. Just because a movement feels subtle or it's mostly internal doesn't mean it isn't profoundly impactful. Real, lasting change happens when the body discovers its own best path.
So to kind of wrap up our deep dive into Gandour's wisdom today, we're left with this truly poetic, I think, and really insightful thought. The head is a rudder. It should never steer alone, but always align within a whole.
That just beautifully encapsulates what we might call a poetics of living and moving, doesn't it?
It really does.
Whether you're human or horse, truly integrated, efficient movement, it begins in thought, perhaps in the gaze. It refines in the subtle wisdom of the neck, and then it expresses itself all the way down the spinal column. And that humble head nod, that tiny C1, C2 movement we talked about, it's far from being a sign of submission. It is, in fact, as Gandour's wisdom suggests, a reverence to balance.
A reverence to balance. I like that.
Yeah. And maybe we can invite you, the listener, to consider this idea, this reverence to balance, as you navigate your own movements, your interactions, just your experiences in the world, recognizing that quiet power held in how you carry your head.